Hey guys, I can't be in the classroom today, but I'm gonna review some stuff for you anyway. So let's go ahead and get started. So first off, one of the things you're still gonna need to remember is what sine equals, what cosine equals, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. So remember, sine is O over H, cosine is A over H, tangent is O over A. And all these other ones are just the opposite. So H over O, H over A over O. Excuse me. So from yesterday, you guys should have been able to already answer numbers 1 through 18. So if you haven't finished those, you do need to finish them. But what I'm going to start to go over is something like what you see from number 19 through 24 in your review packets. So I know that these aren't very clear. I hope they're a little bit clearer on your notes. But this right here is saying tangent -1 cosine pi. This one says cosine sine -1 4 over 5. So what you need to notice here is that these are both, they look very similar, but if you notice, this one's the -1's on the outside, the -1's on the inside. This is a clue here on what you need to do. -1 on the inside, you have to make a triangle. So look for the -1. Is it on the inside? If it is, you make a triangle. So we're going to do that over here. So we know that sine is equal to 4 over 5, which is equal to, like we talked about over there, O divided by H. So if we make this our angle, over here is our O, this is our A, and this is our H. So we know that the O is 4, our H is 5, and we have to find A. Okay, now you won't have a calculator to do any of these problems. So since this is a right triangle, you can do the Pythagorean theorem. So I'm going to do it down here on the bottom. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Remember these two right here, these are the sides. And this right here is the hypotenuse. So one of the sides is 4, so it's 4 squared. Plus, I don't know what A is, so I'll call it x squared equals 5 squared. And we'll put them in parentheses. So 16 plus x squared equals 25. And so I subtract 16, x squared equals 25 minus 16 is 9. Square root this thing, x equals 3. So my A is 3. Okay, so what I did, I solved this triangle part. Now I'm going to actually solve the cosine. So cosine, I'm solving the outside part, is equal to A over H. And I know my A is 3. We just solved for it, and my H is 5. So this right here is my answer. Okay. Now going back to this one, -1 on the outside, so that means right here, this inner part, I'm going to use the unit circle. So you're going to go to pi, which is right here. This is pi. Use one of your old unit circles, one that's a little bit clearer. Okay. Cosine means the x and the y, the cosine, the sine. So I want to know what's the x value at pi. So right here it's -1. And I want to do inverse tangent of -1. So remember here, guys, when I have the inverse on the outside, what I'm looking for now is what's the angle? Where is my angle equal to -1? So Excuse me. Remember that tangent is equal to, y divided by x. Sine divided by cosine. Okay? So where is my y value, or where do I divide my y and my x value equal to negative 1? So looking right here, again, look at your clear unit circle. Square root of 2 over 2 divided by square root of 2 over 2, that will give me a positive 1. So this is not the answer. Right here, square root of 2 over 2 divided by, here's my y and my x, divided by negative square root of 2, this will give me negative 1. So this is an answer at 3 pi over 4. And if I keep looking, negative divided by negative, this one is going to give me a positive 1. That's not an answer, but this one right here will be 7 pi over 4. So here I have 2 answers. Okay. So again, these questions, they look similar, but if I look at where's the negative 1, that tells me what to do. Here I make a triangle. Here I start with a unit circle. So remember that. Again, this is like questions number 19 through 24. Okay. So we're going to continue here. Again, don't forget we need these 6 identities here. They're not going to be given to you on the test, so these are ones you need to memorize. So next thing I want to go over is something like what you see on numbers 25 through 30. And this is all unit circle. Okay? So this is, not very clear, but this is asking for the cotangent at negative 13 pi over 6. Now, if you look at the unit circle, guys, you're not going to find 13 pi over 6. Okay? We're looking at the angle. That's what this is. It's an angle. So that means I went around the unit circle. I'm starting to go around it again. So I'm going to bring this back. Okay, 13 pi over 6. I'm going to subtract 2 pi. Okay, so I can bring it back to one of these numbers that's in here. Okay, right now let's not worry about the negative sign. So pretend the negative sign is not there for right now. Let's just subtract 2 pi. So I can't subtract these because they don't have the same denominator. We can put this over 1. So I need these to be the same denominator. So I'm going to multiply by 6 here. So this becomes 13 pi over 6 minus 2 times 6 is 12. 12 pi over 6. So now 13 minus 12 is 1, which I don't have to write, so it's just pi over 6. Okay, so that's on my unit circle. I see it right here. And now I'm going to add back the negative sign, the one I was ignoring right now. So you need to remember, when you're dealing with a negative number, you have to go across the x-axis. So if this is pi over 6, right here where it says 11 pi over 6, this is the same as negative pi over 6. So this is the number I'm looking at. And since I want to know cotangent of negative pi over 6, remember, cotangent is A divided by O, which is, remember, you have X and Y, cosine, sine, A, and O. So it's square root of 3 over 2 divided by negative 1/2. You're going to do KFC, so keep the first number, square root of 3 over 2 times 2 over 1, negative. The 2's will cancel, so you're left with negative square root of 3. And that's my answer. Okay. Now, the last problem we're going to go over, this one's not too hard, guys. Number 31 through 33. You have questions that look like this. So this, again, it's not looking too clear here, but this means this is saying cosecant of negative 2 and 4. Okay, so they gave me a point here. So here I want to draw a triangle. So this is the x, this is the y. So here in the x direction, we'll go ahead and make like an axis here. In the x direction, I want to go negative 2. Okay, remember this is the a, and my o, the y value, oops, not this way, positive 4, so it's going to go up. Let me go ahead and redraw this. So negative 2 this direction, positive 4 this direction. This is the O, this is the A, this is my angle. Always comes back to the origin. So I need to find H here. I don't know what that is. So this is a right triangle. You're going to use Pythagorean theorem again. So this is 1a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Remember, these are the sides. This is the hypotenuse. This is what I'm looking for. So 4 squared plus a negative 2 squared equals c squared. So 16 plus 4 equals c squared. Okay, and I'm going to square root this thing. C is equal to the square root of 20. We can leave it like that. Okay, so if I want to know the cosecant is equal to h over o. So here I know the h is square root of 20, and the o is equal to 4. And this is my answer. And this is okay because I don't have a square root on the bottom of the problem. Okay, so guys, I'm sorry I can't be in there today, but this is I'm getting you through a lot of the problems here that I have in the review. So keep working at it. I will be here after school today so that you guys can ask me your questions if you get confused with any of this. And remember that tomorrow you are going to get a quiz on the stuff I put on the board yesterday for that you need to memorize, those identities. So the Pythagorean identity, what sine equals to, cosine, cosecant, secant, all that stuff. So study for that. That'll be tomorrow's due now. It's going to be for a grade. And I will see you all tomorrow.